Okay, I'm on the bottom of page 132. What I could do was yell, "Help! I'm trapped!" I squeaked, although the bag muffled the sound. I'm not sure why I was yelling. "Help me, please!" Probably sounded like squeak, squeak, squeak. I squeaked anyway, and I waited. What was that I heard? Boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 followed by a large crash. I couldn't imagine how Og thought all that noise would help me. Then I heard a new sound. Bop, bop, bop. Soon Og was grinning at me through the slit of a light. That crazy old lump of frog had managed to hop all the way out of his house, and he'd come to save me. He started leaping at the bag each time, hitting it harder and harder. The bag shifted and the space around me started to open up as I crawled towards him. Og kept bashing the bag, screaming, "Scree! Scree!" This was a whole new word for Og and a whole new sound. The space got bigger and bigger, and I crawled along until I could reach out and grab Og. Although I was weak from hunger and all that effort, I managed to grab onto Og's back just as the bag shifted again, flattening out. I was glad, glad, glad I wasn't underneath it anymore. "Scree!" Og repeated. I pulled myself up on Og's back, and he hopped away from the bag. What a thrill! I was rocking and rolling on his back, like a cowboy riding a bucking bronco. "Yee-haw!" I yelled. "Go, Og! Go, frog!" "Scree!" he yelled. All of a sudden, the lights came on, and I heard footsteps. "Oh no, look at that! They're out of their cages!" It was Mrs. Brisbane. "They knocked the food over. They must be starving, poor things." "Smart little critters," said Principal Morales, chuckling. "Muy inteligente." I hardly recognized those two, bundled up in heavy coats and woolly hats with huge scarves almost covering their faces. How on earth did they get out? Mrs. Brisbane wondered. "Maybe somebody didn't lock Humphrey's cage tightly," said the principal, "and I guess the frog hopped out of his tank. Look, he pushed the lid off." "So I had a lock that doesn't lock, and Og had a top that he can pop." "Never fear, Aldo's here," another voice yelled. A bundled up Aldo hurried into the room. "Are they okay? The snowplow didn't clean our street until half an hour ago. I was going to walk over here, but the radio said it was too dangerous to go out." "I know," said Mrs. Brisbane. "Bert and I have been worried sick. If I'd known the storm was coming, I would have taken them home with me, and everybody's called me, all the parents, Angie Loomis, everybody." Mrs. Brisbane put me back in my cage and gave me a handful of Nutri-Nibbles. Principal Morales put Og back in his cage and fed him some icky crickets. Gag. Aldo went to get us both fresh water. "It's too cold in here for Og," Mr. Morales said. "He's pulled through all right, but I'm going to buy him a heater." More footsteps clomped across the floor. "We came as soon as we got shoveled out," said Miranda, as she and Amy and Abby arrived. "The girls have been worried all day," said Amy. We hadn't been forgotten after all. Heidi's mom, Garth's dad, and Saye and her dad showed up too. Every one of them was worried about Og and me. I wanted to thank them, but it's not polite to talk with your mouth full. They all asked to take us home for the rest of the weekend, but Mrs. Brisbane was quite firm. "I'm going to be selfish this time. I'm taking them home with me. My husband would never forgive me if I didn't." Mr. Morales told everyone to be very, very, very careful on the drive back home. He and Aldo helped Mrs. Brisbane prepare our houses for the trip. Finally, my tummy felt full. "Og," I squeaked. "Thank you, my friend. Does this mean you forgive me?" "Boing," he answered, which was an extremely nice thing for a frog to say. And the quote says, "Real friendship is shown in times of trouble. Prosperity is full of friends." All right, have a great day today. See you tomorrow.